Yo, what's up? This your boy Derek Branch at Strike7Sports.com. This is another episode of Strike 7 Sports Podcast. Joined by my co-host Brian Potter. Yo, the Seabird. This is another episode of Strike 7 Sports Podcast. So we're gonna talk, but it's gonna be another NBA, heavy podcast tonight because that's pretty much what has been going on lately with the NBA ever since the finals concluded. It's been players calling analysts out and analysts calling players out and guys getting their own pods and, talking when jabbing with Stephen A. Smith and Kyrie going at Stephen A. Smith. Just been a lot of drama lately in the off season. And then, the Woj bombs are starting to drop. We've got a few of them, little, I won't say the big Woj bombs, but they're starting to drop. And we got one today. But we're gonna backtrack and go to Monday, and Monday's news was with Kyrie Irving and the possibility of him leaving the Brooklyn Nets. But all of that came to a screeching halt when Irving decided to opt in to his $36 million, I think, play option with the Nets. So he says he's going to be back. I'm paraphrasing what he said. It was, something along the lines of normal people make the world go around. What the rest of it was, something like that, whatever. But he said something along those lines, and you're saying, well, he's going to be back this year. But um, I want to ask y'all if do y'all think the drama is over between Kyrie and the Nets for now, or there's still more to come? Because there's talk about him still possibly being moved.
Yeah, I'll take this one first. I was just gonna say him opting in actually makes it easier for him to get traded. So I think he'll probably play with the Nets next year. But if he gets traded or the Nets decide to move on for him, they both mutually agree to part ways via trade. I won't be surprised. So right now, I think he's gonna play next season with the Nets, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's on another team in the next couple of days, weeks, maybe months.
Scott Lil.
I think Kyrie Irving, man, such unpredictable. He's so unpredictable, man. Like because I think I want to say he's gonna stick it out with the Nets, but I don't think he's for this next season because he was talking about I can't leave Durant and all that yada yada yada. But I feel like they just tried to use that as a leverage tool, like him saying that he want to get traded as a leverage tool to try to get the max, and that he see that it wasn't gonna work, so he opted in and just took his money. But I do think that he gonna stay with the Nets. I think he proved that by taking the 36 million, which anybody, most 90% of 99.9% of people that I know would have taken that money too. So I think at the end of the day, I think in a bold move, he's gonna actually re-sign with the Nets for a max. I think they're gonna have a good season, and the Nets are gonna give him a max because the Nets will rather give him a max than face the alternative.
Okay, I hear you. To me, well, Kyrie, man, I like the guy, great player, a Kyrie guy, but sometimes he comes across to me as he's trying to be one of those guys that think they're the smartest person in the room, with his takes and it's just outlooks on everything, and he tries to be like a intellectual to a certain point, man. But just, dude, just show up and play, man. I'm not. This ain't shut up and dribble. I'm just saying, man, show up for your team, man. Now, I know for him not getting the jab, stand up for what he believed in, but it caused the Nets in the long run. At the Nets' expense, it cost him a shot at the title. Because the reality is, if he does get on the court, he does show up. He does. If he did get vaccinated and played, then maybe the Nets are a top seed in the West, not in the West, but in the East, and maybe James Harden doesn't demand that trade out of Brooklyn because they were like the Warriors, you know. And the facts were there that nobody were gonna beat them if all three of those guys were on the court. They were that good, but it was short lived. Now the Nets gotta adjust now with the roster that they have. Now they have Ben Simmons, you got Kevin Durant, and Kyrie Irving, and a few other role players. I want to ask y'all. So if the drama is over for now, what are the ways that the Nets are going to get better? I don't think they're going to stand pat as they're currently constructed right now.
I'll take this one. The way the Nets are going to get better, they have to be big players for solid role players in free agency. Maybe have a trade here or there. The coaching staff's going to have some changes and then take it from there. But the most important thing, if they can have buy-in from day one, the vaccine mandate issue, that won't be an issue this season. At least we don't think for now. So I think they'll be better next year. Does that mean they'll win it all or make it to the conference finals? Not necessarily, but I think they'll be better next year.
All right.
I think what they'll have to do is, I think a lot of the issues are going to be fixed in house by like Joe Harris. You get Joe Harris back. He missed out most of last year, when probably their best 3-point shooter. I think they bring Patty Mills back. He's a free agent, but I think bringing him back on a 2-year, maybe a 1 or 2 year deal would be a smart move to solidify that backup point guard position. Nick Claxton is going to probably sign the qualifying offer. They're going to probably extend that to him. He's going to get brought back. A lot of their issues are going to be within house. Bruce Brown is a guy that's a free agent. But we saw during that Boston series played a very important role. But we don't know if he'll get brought back. If Brooklyn can bring him back for the reasonable amount of money, I'm pretty sure they will. So a lot of their issues are in-house free agents that can, a lot of guys that their guys can be brought back, but it's not everybody's going to want to get paid. Even Bruce Brown, who showed the little flash of talent that he had, may get offered a bigger bag. Some people are saying the Grizzlies are trying to get in on him, offer him some money. So a lot of the issues can be fixed within the in-house free agents that they already have, instead of really going external and trying to go get other guys from other teams.
Yeah, sounds good. I don't know, man. But, a lot of people were saying that the issues were, even when Dad James Harden, there was the issue. Saying the issues were like the chemistry. They didn't. People didn't feel like they didn't have enough time together. They didn't. They were where the players didn't really know their roles outside of the big three they had. But maybe they can get that kinked out this season in the off season. And get the stuff behind them. But good for the Nets, man, because I think it would have sucked if Kyrie had opted out and not take that $37 million and go to a team like the Lakers or something, and just that whole experiment was short lived. They never really got off the ground. You know what I'm saying? Because Kevin Durant signed there. And then he had to miss a year. Then the pandemic started, and Kyrie was out. He didn't even go to the bubble with him. And then they carry Kevin Durant and Kyrie, but they lose Kyrie in the series against Milwaukee, and they blow that series. They lose that series, but Milwaukee goes to the finals. This year it just went downhill. But that's good. The Nets are they're able to abort a crisis in that team, because I think they would have been on the verge of being a lottery team if they had moved on from Kyrie and Kevin Durant. But we'll see how everything plays out. So moving right along, later that day on Monday night, it was reported that John Wall will be joining the Los Angeles Clippers after negotiating a buyout with the Houston Rockets. He only had to pay like $6 million, $6.5 million according to the report, and the Rockets are still on the hook for, I believe, the $44 million left on his deal. So the Clippers get a player that I think it's a good move for John Wall because I'm not this ain't trying to knock him or anything like that, but I think it's better when he is like not the guy, like the number one guy on the team, and he can be, a part of that team, but be a piece that can contribute to that to the Clippers. But I want to ask y'all, man, with this move now and everybody coming back healthy, what are the Clippers right now? Do you think they're favorites in the West to represent the West in the finals, or it's still work to do?
As of this moment, I would go with the Clippers because they brought a lot of their pieces back.
Yes.
Zubac got signed an extension. Batum will be getting an extension, 3 years, $30 million. Paul George, of course, Kawhi. Paul George gonna be back. He'll be back fully healthy. Kawhi Leonard will be back fully healthy after missing. If I'm not mistaken, he missed the entire season.
Yeah, he missed the entire season.
You're gonna have Reggie Jackson. You're gonna have the new John Wall. People don't understand how fresh John Wall is. I think he may have added maybe 2 or 3 seasons to how fresh he is. Like he might play a little longer than people expect. So I think that they are the favorites coming out the West. But at the same time, DB, we need to don't count out the Grizzlies. Don't count out with the Suns. We have to see what the Suns is gonna do with DeAndre Ayton. The Warriors have several free agents, key free agents: Otto Porter, Gary Payton II, Kevon Looney. Key guys that they're gonna have to see. The word is Porter. They're gonna let Porter. Porter may be out of there, but they're gonna try to keep Payton and Looney. And so, and Poole's gonna get his extension. He's going nowhere.
He ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, he ain't going nowhere. So, a lot of these a theme that's gonna be in the West is continuity. That's gonna be the main thing because a lot of these teams' cores are gonna stay the same. So, when I stack up the Clippers to a lot of these teams, I think on paper they have the best squad right now, DB. But I just need to see it I need to see it in fruition because I don't know. John Wall has never not been the number one on the team, so you have to think about how can he. I know I think he obviously knows at this point he won't be a number one.
He knows
at best he's a 3. So he how he adjusted to that we'll have to see. But I think he's still a guy that can get you 20 points though. So well, hopefully he is. But I mean, we just have to see what it looks like. I need to see what this team looks like on the court before I just say okay, they're the best team in the West. But on paper, they're not too far off.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, Brian.
Yeah, right now the Clippers. I think they're the second best team in the West. The Warriors are still the team to beat. They've proven it this year, and I just got to give them the benefit of the doubt. But the Clippers, if the Clippers come out of the West next year, I won't be surprised. I still think they need another point guard, maybe another big, but everything else, I think they're pretty loaded at. John Wall, while you say he's fresh, he's also pretty rusty too. So it goes both ways. So
well, working out.
When I say it's hard playing pickup with guys like me. And when I say guys like me, guys, athletic guys. But when it's a whole, it's a whole lot different. It's a different situation playing pickup than playing in an actual NBA game. And I know it's not his fault. Houston just didn't want him to play because they were rebuilding, which I didn't think was fair. They should have let him go last year, but that's neither here nor there. But I don't expect John Wall to have a great impact on the Clippers. I think he could have if he could just give them 10, 15 really good minutes every night, that'd be great. But I think they need another point guard. I just think they do.
All right, hey, well, hold up. We got a comment here from Stripe Steel. He says that John Wall is almost the perfect pickup for the Clippers, assuming he can get back to near his prime years. I mean, yeah, but he won't be the guy though. He's not the one.
Another thing too, y'all. They have to. We forgot about somebody else too that's gonna help them take a lot of pressure off John Wall. John Wall. I mean, I think at best, some people, I was thinking in my head who would be the starting point guard, him or Reggie Jackson. And I say Reggie because he built the team continuity. But John Wall would be great leading that second team with Norman Powell and
Oh, I forgot about Norman
yeah,
Powell.
by Norman Powell and Terrence Mann
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
So they're gonna have a lot of they're gonna have a lot of pieces to work with, and trust me, they're gonna be loaded next year. And I think that their first 7 or 8 is among the best in the league. I say it's the best in the league. At full strength, they top 7, top 8 guys go real deep. They up there with Boston and Golden State. So Clippers on paper allowed, but the Clippers have been like this on paper before, y'all. They ain't never made the
Yeah,
finals.
right.
So I need to see it.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I would agree with Brian too. I think this makes them the second best team in the West, unless somebody else does something in the off season. But like last year, bro, before the season started, I had the Clippers coming out of the West until I realized, the possible. I realized what was going on with the team and that they were going to get Kyrie back, not Kyrie, Kawhi back, and Paul George was missed time as well. But people forgot how deep the Clippers are, man. People forgot how deep they are. They forgot about John Wall that fast. And their supporting class, Clippers supporting cast is pretty good, man. Like Reggie Jackson is a really good player. Reggie Jackson, Terrence Mann, he even came up. Zubac, they just locked him up. You got Norman Powell. Um, it's a really good team, and I'm looking forward to seeing how it goes. Looking forward to seeing if if Kawhi goes back into the load management mode, and is that going to affect their chemistry? Is that going to affect their continuity? Because that was a big deal when he went down to the bubble and lost to the Denver Nuggets. It was just people felt like they weren't together. They weren't there was no continuity with the team. There's no chemistry. So I'm looking forward to see how everything plays out with the Clippers. But you can't count out Memphis, man. Memphis, you got the Pelicans, yeah, the Suns. I think they might take a step back, but we'll see. The Suns, you got Denver. You know, it's just a lot of some really good teams out there. So we'll see. And Portland, they're supposed to be big players in the off season. So they've yet to, but they made one big move, but we're still waiting to see what they're gonna do. But so we'll see how everything plays out. But right now, I think it's between the Warriors and the Clippers, man. Right now, unless something else changes. So we'll see. All right, so we're gonna segue on to what went down today, and that's man, the Atlanta Hawks surrendering 3 first-round picks in return for the services of guard Delonte Murray. I hope I'm saying that right. Delonte Murray of the San Antonio Spurs. So I got the report pulled up from the Athletic. They do a good job of the stories like this. Let's give it a couple minutes, couple seconds. San Antonio Spurs are trading Delonte Murray to the Atlanta Hawks for the Danilo Gallinari, 3 first-round draft picks, and a draft swap. Sources told the Athletic on Thursday. The three draft picks are all in the first round, 2025 and 2027, plus Charlotte's 2023 protected first and a swap of picks in 2026. Murray, 25 years old, was drafted by the Spurs in 2016 as a 29th pick and played 5 seasons in San Antonio, missing the 2018-2019 season due to a torn ACL. Last season, the 6'4" point guard started in 68 games, averaged 21.1 points per game, 8.3 rebounds, and 9.2 assists. Spurs will get Gallinari, who spent 4 years playing professionally in Italy before getting selected 6th in the 2008 draft by the New York Knicks. He's been in for a while. The 6'10" power forward played with the Knicks from 2008 to 2011 before getting traded to the Nuggets. He also had a brief stint with the Clippers from 2017 to 2019 and played in Oklahoma City during the 2019-2020 season. In Atlanta last season, he got in there and played in 66 games with 18 starts, averaged 11.7 points per game, 4.7 rebounds, and 1.5 assists. Expectations for the Hawks with Murray. Kirk Kirchner, Hawks beat writer. Expectations for the Hawks are still to be determined. The roster as is probably isn't enough to win a title. More moves have to be made. The Hawks got better defensively with this trade, but they still need more defenders. It also remains to be seen how Trae Young will look off the ball more than ever he ever has since entering the NBA. The good news is he's been highly efficient doing it so far, but it's likely to be an adjustment to doing it more frequently. So in regards to the Spurs, it's clear with this move that the Spurs will take the season and go into full rebuild mode. Now that they have lost their all-star guard, the obvious goal here is for the Spurs to land number one pick in the 2023 NBA draft and potentially land Frenchman Victor Wembanyama. Well, I'm about to look that guy up, man. All right, so with that being said, what are your thoughts on the Hawks giving up 3 first rounders for Dejounte Murray?
I'm gonna let Brian take this one first because I know we can have very different viewpoints. So go ahead, Brian.
Uh, I, I like it for both teams. I just think maybe the Hawks overpaid a little bit, but I understand why they did it. Dejounte Murray is a really solid player, and he and Trae Young wanted to play together, so you definitely try to make that move happen. And if you all you have to do is picks, I mean, while they're valuable, I'll look at like there's some rumors that they were going to give a John Collins, and they ended up not doing that. But I wouldn't be surprised if John Collins has moved somewhere else later this week or in a few weeks or a few months. But I like the move by the Hawks. But if like I don't know if you guys noticed this, the GM or the president for the Hawks came from the Golden State Warriors. So I feel like a lot of the moves they try to do is a little bit to try to mimic what the Warriors do in maybe their own little way. But Trey Young is kind of like their Steph Curry. I don't know who Dejounte Murray you probably won't agree with this. He kind of probably reminds me of Draymond Green from the standpoint he obviously he's not the defender Draymond Green is, but he could potentially be the facilitator Draymond Green is. And so I can see what they're trying to do there. But I just saw a tweet from y'all probably I don't know if y'all know him, but he's a good writer on CBS Sports, Sam Quinn.
Yeah.
He was saying what if the Hawks tried to get DeAndre Ayton? And I agree. I think they should try to make that move, especially if you wanted to. Maybe I think it could work for both teams. If let's say the Hawks got or the Suns got John Collins and a first round pick or a pick, and the Hawks got DeAndre Ayton, that'd be pretty nice. I could also see Clint Capella going there instead of John Collins. But I like what the Hawks are doing. They realized they had to retool their roster. Their roster just wasn't good enough. I think they'll be a team that can make a run in the Eastern Conference playoffs again.
All right. You got anything to add to this, Leo?
I'm gonna take your reverse. I'm gonna take the approach that he didn't take. The Spurs approach. I personally feel like it wasn't a good deal for the Spurs because all these years, I guess they started to become the Western Conference version of the Charlotte Hornets, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Where they've been very average. Like, okay, and I just had to start, y'all. Greg Popovich, as great as he is, won 5 championships, right? These last 5 years haven't been that good at all. He had to make the playoffs since 2017. Which, if I'm not mistaken, I may be wrong.
He made in 2019. They lost against the Nuggets. The Nuggets, remember?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
That was so long ago. I forgot about it. It was in 7 games. My bad. You're right. But it feels like he hadn't made it. He hadn't won a playoff series since 2017. Now that's a fact.
Yeah, it is.
They haven't won it.
Kawhi year. Yeah.
Yeah, and if his name weren't Greg Popovich, he'd be on the hot seat. If we were really being honest.
Yeah.
But we know he'll never he'll be his own deciding quitter when he quits.
Yeah.
But the point here is, I feel like the Spurs, they aren't like, I guess they're like that. Their mindset is they don't want to be an average team no more. If they're gonna be really good or bad, and I guess they're dedicated to being bad. But I have issue with this from the Spurs standpoint because I see potential with that team. They have a young core, but the core they have Keldon Johnson, really young guy, Josh Primo. There's really young team. A guy they just drafted, Jeremy Sochan, 19-year-old from with 19 or 20-year-old from Baylor. They have a really young team that they could build with, and DB they could. I know. I guess they see that they're deep in the West. They're really deep in the, like. There's a deep Western Conference, and then they really don't have, I guess, a shot to contend. But I see some talent there. But I understand the move, but I just don't like it. You giving up. Well, they got the 3 first-round picks, but Dejounte Murray was on. He was the last player that was on the team when they were winning. Besides, yeah, he was the Dejounte Murray was the last player that was on the team when they went to the conference finals in 2017. So I feel like by cutting that move, you cut off you cut off your last remnant of that when you were winning a good team. So
Yeah.
you just cut literally that cheese just got sliced off, and so you shipped off your last source of relevancy when you were relevancy to for real to another team. So I don't like it from that standpoint, but and also I feel bad for Pop a little bit because you think he really wants to go into his 70s on the rebuild.
He ain't got time for that, man.
Well,
like Belichick, man.
what was I going to say? He signed off on this. So
Yeah.
Pop, it's not like Pop wasn't aware. He knew about this. 2 little things I'd like to say real quick. I don't know if Victor Wembanyama may do this, but the team he plays for, guys, just take a wild guess who the owner is. Just take a wild guess.
Cronky?
No.
Is he on the NBA
Do
team?
everything else.
Tony Parker.
What?
Yeah. So I don't know if he'll do it, but there's a way if the Spurs.
This dude gotta be good, man. This dude.
I think he could force his way to the Spurs if he really wants to go there. But I see look. I personally think this is Greg Popovich's last season coaching the Spurs. I could be wrong, but I think this is the last year of his contract, and it'll just be the perfect way to end it. Just don't offer him an extension and have him. I could see him if he really wants to be around. He can move it to the front office. That's what a lot of coaches are doing now. But I think it's time for a new voice. A lot of rumors about Quinn Snyder, even Will Hardy before he got hired by the Jazz. Some people thought he could be the next one in line. But I think the Spurs they're moving into a major rebuild. I think they need a young coach, maybe a Kenny Atkinson. I don't know if he wants to move to Texas, but I don't know. But it's the beginning of a new era. They need they need a new coach. It's I think it's the beginning of the end. I see what the Spurs were doing. They felt like they weren't going to win, and I agree with what you said earlier, Leo. The worst thing you can be in the NBA is in the middle. It's either you're good or you're bad. You don't want to be in the middle. And so I like the move they made. Hopefully they get Victor Wembanyama, and then they can take it from there. But that one of their bigger issues, they have too many guards on that roster. When I'm on Spot Track looking at their roster, they have way too many guards. They got to figure that out. But I won't be surprised if he's not the only veteran move from the Spurs. Jakob Poeltl is a really solid center. I could see him getting moved, and maybe another piece too. But yeah, the Spurs made the right decision. They need to go in a full rebuild and take it from there.
Hey, maybe they could get Imani Bates.
Hey, maybe look, someone.
Man, he ain't a pop. I don't know if he's a Popovich. Like,
No,
I don't know.
I don't know. But the one thing I'll say is, like, if he can get to the right situation, like Patrick Baldwin, who got drafted by the Warriors, was in a similar situation as Imani Bates. He went to a small school.
But that's Pop.
Yeah, but no, I don't think. Look, you got to do what's best for you. A lot of people were disagreeing, and I disagree with that. I love the move Imani Bates made. He's going back home. He's humbling himself. Is he playing the greatest competition? No, but at the end of the day, if he can play, team mind you. So that's the way I look at it. I think he's going to be a first-round pick. Will he be a lottery pick if I had to bet money? Hell no. But first-round pick, that's still.
He might be. I think he will be.
Maybe.
He might go lottery.
I think he's going to be a lottery.
All right, we'll see. I disagree with that, but we'll see. But,
all right. Go ahead.
If he somehow the team I really want, two teams I really want him to end up with, the Grizzlies because he's really tight with John Morant, and I'd really like that, or the Lakers because we need talent.
Yeah.
We're about to get
Young talent. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's what I would like to see.
Y'all got so must be gonna suck then. When that LeBron, man, LeBron don't want to play with young players, man. You know that.
Look, I'm a lot of Laker fans if get on me on Twitter, but I'm one of those people. I don't want to extend LeBron. I just want to because I feel like we're in the middle. We may make the playoffs, but losing the first round. I think after next year we should just start a rebuild. That's just my personal opinion.
I don't. The Laker rebuilds are horrible. They last forever. No, I don't want to be.
They do.
They don't last.
Bruh, my whole high school from 2014. While we were in high school, Brian, the Lakers didn't make the playoffs. Let's keep that in perspective.
That's fine, but they didn't handle that rebuild the right way. I think they learned from their lessons. They'll be better. But like, ask yourself, like, even if all right, let's say they did try to contend. Look at how deep the West is. I mean, it's loaded. It could be arguably the deepest it's ever been next year. So, and the next few years. So, I think it's the right decision, but we'll see what happens.
All right, so I'll just bring it back to the Spurs, man, and the Hawks trade. I don't have an issue with them getting Dejounte Murray, but for you give up 3 draft picks for this dude, and you give up 3 first-round assets for this guy. This ain't bashing. It's not putting him down or anything like that, but he's not Damian Lillard. He's not Devin Booker. He's not, he's not Klay Thompson. He's not, give me another name out there.
Do you think he's better than Jrue Holiday?
Dog, no.
I think it's even.
It's not, bro. You give up 3 first rounders for a guy that you still not. The narrative is that. Well, I'm not going. I mean, everybody got their own opinion, but according to the piece, even if you do get this guy, you're still not a heavyweight in the East yet. So, what other moves are you going to make?
Yeah.
So you're not done. So you going. If I got, it looked like we were going into our next topic with that, but that means you're not done, man. But for the Spurs, it's just they haven't like found that culture builder guy like they had with Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, what's his name is
Tony Parker,
Kawhi Leonard.
You just have
the air apparent, and they made him mad. But that's another.
Yeah, but they haven't really found that guy yet, man. It's just sometimes when when great teams get old like that, and the people I would say the guys that's supposed to come up behind it, they're not that. They're not what Tim Duncan was, and they just haven't found it yet. The Spurs, ever since I've been alive, it's been a player in the West, man, a major player, man. This has been since I was in like elementary school, man. Spurs have been a heavyweight in the West, since they had David Robinson, Dennis Rodman, Tim Duncan, Steve Kerr, Robert Horry, and it just hasn't been never been that good in a while, man. Since 2017, and people was giving the Warriors crap about that. They was saying, well, if Kawhi didn't get hurt, they would have beat the Spurs. They would have beat the Warriors. That was like that was the last. That was one of the Pop's last good Spurs team. But to give up, I would have given up 2 picks for him. 2 picks for Dejounte Murray, not 3. I don't know, man. That's just a lot, man. That's a lot for a guy. That's a lot for a guy that could get his team to the play-in tournament.
What was on?
Well,
I
would say into the playoffs when the Pelicans did without their best player. That's a lot for a guy that couldn't do that on a Pop coach team. To me, that's just a lot. But teach his own. You think you don't want to add?
Yeah, can I go real quick? Yeah, well, I'm saying, technically, if you think about it, the entire deal, they really gave up 2 of their own first-round picks. Then they gave the one, I think the pick next year is from Charlotte.
Mhm.
Then they also gave up a pick swap in 2026. So it's not what I've given up that much, no, but they ended up giving up. And the good thing about the NBA with these picks is they're not consecutive years. There's gaps between them, and so while it seems like you're giving up, they gave up a lot. It's not as bad as maybe it seems, and I believe they're going to get something from John Collins. I think they can at least get a first round pick and a solid player.
Didn't they just sign him?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but if I don't know if you follow that free agency, I'm not sure if they both parties really wanted that. Well, John Collins wanted more than they gave him, but because he was a restricted free agent, whatever, nobody was willing to offer more than that, so he ended up taking it. But I don't think John Collins wanted to come back with the price they gave him, but he took it because he had to take something. So I believe he's on his way out. But again, I kind of disagree with your point about Dejounte Murray, like not being a good player because he didn't. Well, I don't think you said not being a good player, but
You
maybe
said that.
a difference maker.
Yeah, he's
'Cause he
not
didn't-
advertised.
yeah, because he didn't take the Spurs to the play-in. The West was pretty loaded. The Spurs,
In the
they were,
play-in, though?
yeah, the
Yeah.
Spurs. Well, let me explain. The Spurs were kind of tanking at the end. They were, and so I don't really look into things like that. He made the All Star team. I think that shows he has something. But I do agree from the standpoint that they did give up too much to get him. But if you're the Hawks, you sometimes got to make moves like that because you're not really a free agent destination.
He
So
should be.
yeah, I mean a little bit, but
He
again,
should be.
the Hawks aren't done. I believe they're going to try to make a move. I would love for them to get DeAndre Ayton. And especially if they can get him without having to give up John Collins, then they can try to use John Collins and another to get another piece. Then I'd like to see what that roster looks like. But I'm not saying the Hawks will be as good as they were a few years ago, but I think they could at least make the second round of the playoffs, and that would be success in my
So, Leo, you still got that the ace against Nate McMillan?
opinion.
See, yeah, because I mean, my they went right after they made the conference finals. They went right back to being what they usually are, average. So I didn't even have to say anything last year. You just let's watch. If anybody watched, you just saw how average the team was. You had one. You were. They had that one. What's it called? Like they call lightning in a bottle. That's what
Yeah,
they call
against the
light.
weekend.
Yep. And then you see what happened. But to address what y'all was saying about the Dejounte being an impact player, I think this Hawks team that he's on is better than what the Spurs like what he was rejected to be on the Spurs. So you gotta keep that in account too. And I would like why DeAndre A would be a good fit. They already have two centers already. They just drafted they got Kunga out of Kongu, if I'm not saying his name right. And they drafted him 2 years ago as a top 10 pick. So you sure they still have plans for him. And Clint Capella is still one of the best rebounders in the NBA. And they both guys still, if I'm not mistaken, both of them are in their 20s. Capella, I know in his late 20s, and Kongu early 20s. But they still got two solid centers already. But I think while people I was making this point earlier on Twitter. If you were gonna have Trae Young, most of these great like starting point guards in the NBA are not good defenders. Like Trae Young, the John Morants of the world, the Luka Doncic's of the world, the D'Angelo Russells of the world. You can go on and on and on. Most of these. I mean, you have a few solid point guards that are good defenders, but most of them are not good defenders. This was a perfect fit for the team because they were able to get a guy, a Swiss Army Swiss knife, and Dejounte Murray, who can guard really he can guard point guards through small forwards. He can guard ones through threes, and very flexible. He's gonna take the best perimeter matchup every night, pretty much. Very at 6 foot four, can even like I said can step up and guard some small forwards. So they got a really good Swiss Army knife that's gonna be next to Trae Young. It's gonna take a lot of pressure off him defensively. So for the Hawks, it's a good move because even if they don't win, nobody expecting the Hawks to win the East off this move. But and they said the roster is I think the GM is Travis Schenck. Yeah, Travis Schlink. Yeah, came from that. Like Brian said, came from Golden State. He's been building this roster up ever since he got there, and so they with that they peaked with their conference finals appearance, but they have a lot of young, they have a lot of pieces that can be developed, like DeAndre Hunter, Kevin Herter. These um um so they have some more. They just drafted AJ Griffin out from Duke, so they have a lot of young players. They not trust me. They got a lot of talent on their team.
Yeah, there is, man. Just I mean, if they start achieving, Nate Miller might go, man. Might be the one that goes, but hopefully this is a squad that can make it where he can stay for a while. You know, and prove Brian wrong, but we'll see. All right, moving right along, man. So this is our last topic of the night. We'll talk about the better route to building a contending team and a consistent team that can contend in the NBA. So what you're starting to see now in the league is teams being patient, especially in the smaller markets, building through the draft, letting that talent develop, and then they'll go out and acquire a piece or two here and there to put them over the top. We saw it with, believe it or not, the Golden State Warriors. They built that team through the draft. People, if you want to admit it or not, they built it through the draft. You had Steph, Clay, Draymond Green, and then you decided to add. You had Harrison Barnes too. You drafted him. Then you decide to add Kevin Durant, and that was like extra icing on the cake right there. And they became what they were. You see with the Grizzlies now, you draft guys like John Morant, got a guys Desmond Bain, um, a few pieces here and there. You went and made a move for Steven Adams, and you've been contending in the West ever since you took John Morant. And this past season, you took the next step to the being a contender in the West while being the second seed. You see it with the Pelicans. You have Zion Williamson, uh, Jackson Hayes, who may get moved. Jackson Hayes, Herb Jones, who's becoming a really good defender. Um, Trey Murphy, who there may be something there. We don't know yet. Also, you got a good. You have a good, to me, like a good pick this year, Dyson Daniels, and you may not make no type of move that your team, your core may be already established. We don't. I mean, I haven't really heard anything, but they may not make no offseason acquisition. We don't know yet, but their core is already established. Then you made a move for CJ McCullough. I thought that was a good move because I felt like you needed a veteran. You also went and picked up Brandon Ingram from the Lakers because of the AD trade. Who else is out there? Phoenix. They built through the draft for the most part. So I want to ask y'all, what's the better route to y'all if y'all was like GMs to build a winner, a consistent winner in the league right now? The draft or through trade pieces?
I
Give me
think
benefits.
I think you kind of have to do a little bit of both, but also it depends on what organization. Like if you're the Lakers, you're a free agent destination, and so you can get some free agents. And
Mhm.
if you have also draft picks that you develop, that's nice, but they're not as valuable as, let's say, a Memphis or a New Orleans. So I think it just kind of depends on the situation you're in. But ideally, I would probably say go through the draft because when you first get those rookie contracts, they're going to be cheaper than maybe someone you trade for. And then you can slowly build. Everyone, in order to win, they've had to lose. It's just the way it works. And so as long as you have the right plan, you can have success. But it kind of depends on where you are in your process. Like if you're just starting all over, then you kind of should build through the draft. But if you're like maybe 2 or 3 moves away, then you can make some trades to get where you want to be. Then you do that. But again, I probably if depend on the organization I'm running, it that will kind of dictate my strategy. So yeah.
I would prefer to build through free agency. I'm
Crazy.
I used to be a big pickup guys in the draft and let them develop, but get development player development is so tricky because the NBA draft is a crapshoot. You gonna hit some, you gonna miss some. If you guys that get drafted and they go number 40 in the draft and we end up being better than number 20. So I need to have proven commodities on my team. I I think the NFL is an exception because I think the player development is key in there. But we're talking about NBA wise, I would have to go to the like free agency because and if I miss on somebody, let's just say like Gordon Hayward. Gordon Hayward, like a free agent guy that went through free agency. If I miss on him, Gordon Hayward's been an All Star caliber player in the NBA. If I miss on him and overpay him, I can live with it because at least I know at his best he was an All Star player. Whereas if I go, let's say I draft, let's say when I don't like using his name because they use draft bust too much. Who's a draft bust that besides Kwame Brown? Hashim the beat. Hashim the beat. Let's say I draft Hashim the beat number 2 overall like the Grizzlies did. I'm taking a risk on potential. I've never seen this man play in a professional basketball game before, and I'm taking a risk that these players are gonna produce, and he ended up not producing. So I rather go with established production and build through free agency, and you know the Warriors did a great blend of that too because think about it, their core players was built through the draft. A lot of their role players was came through free agency or from other teams. Gary Payne, Otto Porter, um, what's his name? Some more players. Damian Lee was came through another team. Um, they've had several players come through from other teams. So, but Balinka, yeah. What are you saying?
Malik, Andrew Wiggins.
Yeah, Andrew Wiggins was came through a trade. Yeah,
Yeah,
so he, it's not everybody. It's different, different teams. Like, but Bada said, like the Grizzlies is built like the Grizzlies. Small market teams can get away with building through the draft because they're not really free agent destinations. Like the Memphis and like a Charlotte.
you got
Charlotte
to
is
do.
built through the draft because they're not finna say let's go sign with Charlotte. But like a Miami Heat team, even though they got Bam and Tyler and those they main 2 draft pieces, they mainly built through free agency. So you have to. It depends on the market DP. But like if I'm in, let's say I'm in, like Bada said, if I'm with the Clippers, I'm building through free agency. If I'm in Memphis, I'm building through the draft. So really, I would prefer the free agency, but it also your location plays a big part in it.
Yeah, that's true. That's unlike the NFL where location really doesn't mean anything. It's just it does to a certain extent, but it's more about the draft and finding a quarterback and you know hoping that he's good, so that way you can pay him dirt cheap and then save up cap space and sign a bunch of talent around him and build. But I'm with Brian on this one as well. I mean, it depends on where I'm at. If I'm in a place like Boston, a gym in Boston, uh, Dallas, Houston, Miami, I'm probably gonna use some trade assets to build that team. But if I'm in like Charlotte, or Memphis, New Orleans, who else out there? Portland. I'm gonna try to build to the draft, man, and be patient. See if that talent's gonna come together. See if I have a guy that's gonna be the number one or the 1 and 2. If not, I might have, even though I might have some potential, I'm gonna save my money, and open for my max slots, and then I'm gonna see if I can lure a free agent if I can. If my team is good enough, I'm gonna try to lower a free agent, a big name free agent. That's what I would do. But
Was good. You have
go ahead.
anything else? All right,
Yeah.
okay. 2 quick points I'm gonna make. I think every champion that's won has had a player they drafted. So I think it's important. You gotta have some hits when you draft. But also, I remember watching. I think SVP did one big thing on Scott Van Pelt. That's SVP. You probably
Yeah, I know this.
yeah. He said something about the Raptors when they won it. They had 0 lottery picks. So you can win.
Yeah, you can win.
Yeah, it doesn't mean you necessarily have to have a lottery pick. You better hit on everything else. But I think that there's some. The thing is, like, I don't think there's just one way to win. There's so many ways
Yes,
to win.
yeah,
But ideally, you got to hit through the draft and then have some good trades and sign some good free agents, and that's probably the best way to go about it. But most of your probably core has to be through the draft. I think that's
yeah,
fair.
yeah. That's what I would do. I would draft my core, see if they're good. If I know if I have a number like a John Morant in that core, then that's great. But if not, I'm gonna save my money up, clear up my space, and see if I got some money for and save up money for some max slots. See if somebody wants to sign with my team. That's what I would do. I don't know what Jordan doing, man. Like Jordan, like dude, Jordan, he's good on the court, but
Yeah.
that ownership role, I don't know what is Jordan doing, man.
He's gotten better. He used to seem like every time they had a pick, you could almost book in they would draft a big, but he's gotten better a little bit. Um, I thought Kenny Atkinson would have been a good hire. It didn't work out. Steve Clifford's a solid. Like if you just want a steady guy for a few years, I think he's a solid coach. They're trying to get to the playoffs. Look what he
Bro,
did with Orlando. He's
You
a
already
good
tried.
coach.
Mark
You already
Jackson,
tried
man.
him.
Mark Jackson.
You know, you
Mark
got
Jackson right there.
Mark
he's
Jackson
good,
was
but
a good coach.
no, but you know why Mark Jackson hasn't got another shot, right?
Yeah, I know, man. That's a
There's
whole
a,
other pod, man. That's a whole
yeah, there's a
Because
lot of reasons why, but
what? Can y'all name one of them?
man,
It's a different
here,
pod,
just
bro. I'll
look
be all
on
day out
Twitter.
of it.
Look
Dude.
on Twitter and type in Mark Jackson and reasons why he hasn't done it. There's a lot of reasons why, but
I won't get into it,
because
man.
part of the reasons why I know is because I'm a Lakers fan, and Lakers fan, it was some of them were willing to have him, but most of them didn't want him.
Man,
But
like I said, why isn't Jordan looking at the Phoenix coaching staff?
yeah, I mean,
Like,
I don't know. I mean,
come on, man.
the only guy I would have potentially hired off of Phoenix's staff is Kevin Young, who's their OC. He's really, really good. A lot of people like him. But they wanted an experienced head coach, and so that's why they went with Kenny Atkinson initially, and then they went with Steve Clifford. And I'll be stunned if Steve Clifford is their coach in 2 or 3 years. That his contract's only for really 2 years, a third year team option. But the one thing I'm glad he was able to get LaMelo Ball. They needed a star in that market. LaMelo Ball hopefully will be there for a long time. But hey, if he comes to the Lakers, I won't mind that. So well, I'd like for him to stay in Charlotte. If he ends up coming to LA to the Lakers, I would take that in a heartbeat.
When I'll be the Hornets.
You don't think he signed a second contract with them?
Oh, that's that first Supermax.
Yeah,
he might, man. He might, man.
He will.
Crazy not to.
He's gonna get that. You got to take that money. That for now. After you get that second contract, then you can go. But he's gonna get that bag, that first bag. Now after that, who knows? But and he's kind of like, even if they're not gonna let him go, unless if like it gets so bad where they have to get rid of him.
Like his dad start talking, man.
His dad. Everyone like that's a topic that I like to discuss real quick. LeVar Ball. Did I like everything he said? No, especially being a Lakers fan. A lot of things I didn't like, but he can only speak if given the mic. It's not like he's not one of those guys that's just gonna go on Twitter and start saying stuff. You can if he's only gonna say something if you give him the platform. We haven't heard from him because nobody's giving him the platform. So I think that's people made a bigger deal than what that really was. But back to the Jordan thing. Jordan's gotten better. He needs to. He's gonna have to spend some of that money if he wants to eventually win. That's kind of
what's up with that.
I don't know. I don't know. That's a good question. I'm the wrong person to ask.
Hey,
you know what's crazy? Is they general manager Brian. We know him, Mitch Kupchak from the Lakers. They trying to similarly draft how something. They kind of like the drafts were starting to be like the Lakers was when they was drafting a lot of young talent and they know how to use them. Like they have so much young talent. Really for them, DB, I think the question of free agency with Miles Bridges, I think that's something like. I mean, we can talk about like maybe for a little bit if you like, because I just feel like his free agency is gonna like determine the direction that the franchise goes in. Because he and LaMelo Ball have a really. They were drafted in back-to-back drafts. They were 2 years apart. Bridges 2018, Ball in 2020. But they have a really close bond, and I really don't think LaMelo wants to see Bridges go. And like, I feel that if Bridges goes, it's a pathway to where I could see LaMelo not signing their second contract with them. I could see that because they have that close. That they're that packed for like on and off the court. So and the chemistry is really good. So they have a. I would. What did you think about his free agency, DB or Ryan? I was asking.
What's his name? What's the guy name again?
Miles Bridges. He had a career year. He's one of those guys that for his first 3 years was kind of really like average, decent, and then he had a breakout year 4. I think he put up like 21 a game and put up his career in rebounds and assists and 3-point percentage and all. So he chose the right year to have and he turned down $55 million last offseason. So
Dude, wow.
Yep. So now he took a chance on himself. So, but I just was wondering like what y'all thought about it because Jordan is known to be very cheap from on and off the court. So I just wanted to know, did y'all think that he could get a max contract?
Not from the. It's going to be interesting how that free agency
The
goes.
Hornets.
I don't think the Hornets will
Yeah,
get
from the
one.
Hornets.
But if a team offers it, they're going to match it because Mitch Kupchak said Miles is coming back. So while they may not pay him, if someone offers him, then they're gonna have to.
Yeah.
Hey, but what do y'all think about Mitch Kupchak, man? Because when he was with the Lakers, he was getting a lot of credit. Now, I think it was more about Jerry West than Mitch Kupchak making those moves. But now since he left the Lakers, man, he just haven't made those type of moves, man.
Yeah. Drafting LaMelo was a plus.
That's what it. Man,
I think Mitch Kupchak is a solid executive. I think he is. I think if you told me who would I rather have, Mitch Kupchak for Rob Pelinka, I would take Mitch Kupchak. I would probably want him to get a better staff than he had with the Lakers towards where he started, during our down years. But I think Mitch Kupchak's a really solid executive. I really do.
I think I take Curry Rambis.
Man, get on somewhere.
Get him out of there.
Hey, man. Hey, bro. Hey. You know what, man? I came up with this epiphany, man. I've been wanting to ask y'all this. How do you think, once Penny gets to the NBA, do you think he will have that same type of appeal as a head coach to bring in free agency, to bring in free agents the way he has with college right now, where the freaking recruiting and the transfer portal? I think he's the king of the transfer portal.
Wait, you talking about who going to the NBA?
Disagree.
Penny.
Penny.
I ask you. No, I'm asking y'all. Do you think he will have the same type of magic that he has in the college ranks when it comes to attracting talent?
No, because even if he did, the NBA, like you kind of choose your players in college. Obviously, they have to decide they want to, but it's the NBA. Even if he did, it's kind of hard. It's harder to win in the NBA. Easier to coach, and when I say easier to coach, you don't have to deal with all this NIL and all that stuff, but harder to win. But the one thing I think helped, and we're starting to see a trend. These former players who played the game, a lot of players seem to respect them. So I think that if there's a time for Penny to come to the NBA, it's now in this area. But I disagree with you about the appeal he has, and you can make a case how much appeal does he really have? Like he's getting some solid transfer players, but he doesn't have the appeal from terms of the 5-star kids, and so maybe he can get some later on. But I still think if I'm him, I stay at Memphis as long as I can, unless if you get an offer from a team that you can't turn down, then I maybe consider leaving, or you're just unhappy at Memphis. But if I'm him, the Memphis probably will never fire him, and you can't get that in NBA. You have one bad season, you can get fired. So,
hey, what if What's the blue blood school out there?
Duke,
Uh,
North Carolina.
Yeah,
they
Kansas.
got guys though. They got coaches. What's the one out there? I'm not mentioning it yet.
Michigan, Juwan Howard, our friend.
What you trying to talk about?
Yeah,
I think that's a chance. Like if he does really good next year, a blue blood might make an offer to him.
Like an NC State, Kevin
Yeah.
Keith, like an NC
Blue
State.
blood can make an offer to him.
maybe NC State. I don't think they're blue blood, but
They're like Texas A&M, man.
no,
They're Texas A&M.
Ew.
who?
They're like they show a little bite, but like
You're comparing. Okay. Oh
They're
yeah.
Texas
One
A&M.
quick thing about the transfer portal. The real king. You know who the real king of the transfer portal is. You want me to tell you?
His pennies
No,
down on the portal,
no.
man.
It's Eric Musselman. That's why he's nicknamed Eric.
Arkansas. Oh my
Yeah,
God. Yeah. They got some good recruits up there, man.
Yeah, he's really good at that. That's what he's known for.
He used to be an NBA coach, man.
Yeah, his dad, I think he was with the Warriors. Yeah, but he used to be NBA coach. Someone said he humbled himself, became a college assistant, got his opportunity, and he's thriving in the college game. But like, I feel like I don't know, like Leah. I know some people think the Orlando Magic job. I'm talking about Penny. Like it was, they interviewed him, but he really never was gonna get the job. And so I feel like if there was a job he was gonna get, that would have been it. Now I could be wrong. Maybe another team, and a lot. You know how it is with most of these jobs. It's about teams are willing to hire people they don't know. It's about who's in that front office, who's in the ownership group that they know you have a relationship, or maybe you can wow them.
You
If
know
you
what?
can get in the interview process and wow them, then that can change people's minds and change people's hearts, and maybe they give you opportunity. But like I said, I'll be stunned if Penny gets an NBA opportunity, but we'll see.
Son? Dude,
Yeah,
I wouldn't be.
he's been
I wouldn't be.
like,
Dude, the Magic job would have been perfect for him.
yeah,
He had Paulo Banchero,
yeah. Well,
Jonathan Isaac. That would have been a good young squad for him, man. To start his career out as a coach, NBA coach, that would have been a good squad for him.
But I just you guys know, he never was like that report Shams put out. It was part of it was the leverage, but he was never really a serious candidate for the Orlando Magic job. Like some people think, like a lot of Memphis people thought he was going to leave. I kind of thought for a second he was going to leave too. I'll admit it. But once some people that I respect started bringing information out and telling the whole story, and even that video he put out saying he's coming back to Memphis, the reason why he put it out, you do that so people won't know you were really not a candidate for the job, and it can help you for future jobs. But maybe we'll see if Penny gets the opportunity. But I feel like if he had maybe pushed harder for the Orlando job, maybe they would have given it to him. But I had a feeling he wasn't going to get it. But we'll see. If he has success in college the next couple of years, then maybe he can get it. But right now, I don't see it happening. But I've been wrong before, and I part of me wants him gone, as you guys know. But I just don't think this program can reach their ceiling under him. And I feel like this program, that's just my opinion. I feel like this program can get back to what they were under Kyrie.
Nah, dude.
And so maybe not in terms of recruiting, but I think this program can.
Dude.
Look, the goal should be make the tournament every year. Do you think that's fair expectation?
Dude, listen. Unless they get like a Calvin Sampson type guy that's not gonna leave, I don't think they can do it, man. That's just me.
And I hate when people say that. Like some people are like, well, we're worried about. Well, there's two things I feel like when people say worried about the next coach leaving.
Because he will.
No, that may be true, but if the coach leaves the program in a better spot, that's all right. And there's some people out there, they won't say it, but I'll say it for them. They're afraid the new coach may do better than Petty. That's why they don't really want him. That's why they don't really want him. So that's what I believe. But
go ahead, Leo, man. What you got, man?
Go ahead. I want to see what he has to say. Go ahead.
Oh. Let me address a couple things because I listened to a lot of y'all's dialogue and I'm very intrigued by what you all had to say. Let me I address DB's point first. DB was talking about Penny coaching in NBA. I think for him, DB for his style of work, DB needs to go. Like Penny would have to. I mean, if you fire your coach, obviously you either are in a rebuild mode or you think you are a coach away from being a contender. Um, I think Penny would have to go to a rebuilding team for him to have that impact, like in terms of young players, because in NBA is really more about self motivation than it is about coaching motivation. Even though obviously coaches bring the best out of players at any level, but in college, a lot of play coaching breeds a lot of coaching builds self confidence in a lot of these players. And whereas in NBA, you already have egos. That's there already. They already think they you know what already. So you really don't have to work at that. So he would have to really go to like a young team. Like he would be. I ain't gonna lie, he would have been the perfect coach for the Hornets
Yeah.
in my opinion. He would have been a perfect coach because with the young talent that they have, and he automatically earns the respect. Imagine what Lamelo Ball can learn from Penny Hardaway. Just
Jordan and
imagine.
Penny would be interesting, man. Jordan working with Penny would be interesting.
Yes. Did you imagine? Could you imagine that them work? And I think Jordan would be patient with him because I feel
Yeah.
like honestly, Borrego shouldn't have been fired, but. But I guess if Jordan thinks that this team has a higher ceiling than what it was, a guy like Penny would have been perfect to get that team to the next level, in my opinion. Now, let's get back to what Brian said. Brian, you were talking about how Memphis Memphis wouldn't fire they wouldn't fire coach. They wouldn't scream for advocate for him to get fired because they would want the other coach. They wouldn't want the other coach that took his spot to do better.
Well, no,
Brian,
that's not what I said.
so
Yeah,
did you say that the reason why a lot of people want Penny to stay is because they are afraid that the person who takes his spot might do better than him.
no, that's not what I'm saying. They're afraid if he's replaced, whether he won't get fired, he'll probably leave or for another job, an NBA job presumably, or resign. They're afraid that the new coach may end up doing better. And look, that's just my opinion. And also, they're afraid the new coach may leave if he for a bigger job because they feel like Memphis is a stepping stone job, which in a way it kind of is. But I think that's if you have that mindset, you're going to be missing out on some great coaches. There's some great coaches out there. Like the ideal situation in my opinion, what Memphis can be, we should be a Gonzaga. I think Memphis can ideally be a Gonzaga because the AAC is not going to be very good. We can, if we get the right coach in here, if Penny doesn't get the job done, we could dominate this conference. I really believe that. But that's what I was trying to say.
But the question is, how long is Memphis gonna be in the AAC? Because that with these even though these relocation rumors to another bigger conferences, such as the Big 12 and other conferences, those rumors perk up every year. And one of these years that Memphis is going to move out of the AAC eventually. I feel like eventually they're going to be viewed as a team that can take that, next jump. I feel like they'll, the renovation to Liberty Bowl. I think part of it is to appeal to other conferences about, that's about everything is about strategy and putting together an appearance and making yourself sellable. Like with the renovations, um, done to the Liberty Bowl. Well, not Liberty Bowl. The whatever you call it. The name of it. Well, yeah.
Simmons, but
Simmons,
yeah.
Simmons Bank, yeah. Simmons Bank Arena, yeah, whatever you call it. But anywho, like it's all about appeal and it's all about selling yourself. So I feel like those renovations are kind of for that too, to get they go to a bigger conference. And so that, it's more to it. And I feel like they might not be like you said, they might not even be in the AAC no more. So what do you do at that point? You still got to keep. Of course, you build where you're in the AAC to make yourself a candidate for other conferences. But I eventually feel that, like I said, Memphis is gonna get that call, Brian, and they're gonna be in another conference, a better conference. So AAC is not like Gonzaga ain't going nowhere. They're never leaving the WCC. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I could see them eventually being.
what?
There's some rumors about the Big East. I don't see that happening, but I could see them join at least for basketball the Pac-12 because they don't have a football team. That complicates things a little bit. But I could see a scenario where they could end up being in the Pac-12 if they can figure out the money thing and the long-term ramifications of it. But the way they're in, I think that because they play a tough non-conference and they dominate their conference. So I think if I'm Gonzaga, I would never leave the WCC. That's just me. But until I think Memphis can end up in the Big 12 or another bigger conference, but until I see it, I'll believe it. I would even there's some people would like them to replace Vanderbilt, but I don't see that happening. Vanderbilt leaving the SEC unless if like the only way I could see them leaving is if like all the smart institutions like the Vanderbilts, the Stanfords, the Northwesterns, they start their own conference, something like
They
that.
ain't gonna do that,
Then
man.
then I could see that happen. But that SEC money, they ain't leaving that.
And
But
Brandon, yeah, go ahead, Brian.
yeah, the only time I see Memphis leaving is after they finish their football renovations, and I think that won't finish until 2025. I could be wrong. So until after that, I don't see them leaving the conference, but you never know.
We'll see. Hey, shouts out to comment. Pay me no mind. Reg. What up, D Branch? Crazy move by San Antonio Spurs. Yeah, it is, but it's the end, man. It's the end of the era in San Antonio. That run has been going since like 1991, man. It's like it's been going for a while, man. And Pop has been like their only coach since I forgot the guy name, but he was coaching the Spurs. They were legit, but he couldn't get him over the hump. They hired Pop, and it's been like history. You know, five championships, could have been six, but that run is over, man. But thanks for your comment, man. Appreciate it. But I think what's up?
I was just on one quick question. What are y'all thoughts on some Laker fan debate this? Do you think the Laker? You probably say no because of your situation, but you'll understand what I mean when I explain it. But the Spurs made a mistake when they didn't accept the Lakers package that they offered them. What do you think about that?
What was the package?
The package for Kawhi, like it was like I don't know if it was Lonzo Ball, but Kuz maybe not Kuz, but it was like Brandon. It's basically what y'all got for the AD trade that they could have maybe got for the Kawhi trade. Do you think they made a mistake not taking that offer?
Before you answer DB, you were talking about Bob Hill.
Say what?
That was the coach before Pop.
Bob Hill. Yeah,
I was trying to look that up, and I think Popovich came down from the front office. I could be wrong, but I think yes. That'd be kind of ironic if he ends up ending his career in the front office. But I think I was just wondering y'all's thoughts. Do you think the Spurs made a mistake by not accepting the Lakers package? Are you saying that because you're a Pelicans fan, or you really believe that?
I believe that.
All right. What are your thoughts?
I just think, man, to play with the Spurs, this is my opinion. To play with the Spurs and Pop, man, you got to be a part of that culture, man. You got to be a certain demeanor, man. It's like the New England Patriots, man.
We just had the
same. You just ain't gonna be, like Brandon ain't gonna want to work there, man. I don't think he wouldn't work there. Lonzo Ball, I just don't think. I mean, it's a Pop thing, man.
Lonzo might would have worked. Lonzo could plug. Lonzo one of the players you can plug on any team, and he could play on any team in the NBA.
Yeah, like a dude like who was out there? What's a mild-mannered player out there right now that's pretty good?
Like how good? Like just a solid role player or a star?
A solid star that's like got that not really out there right now.
Drew Holiday.
Dejounte.
Yeah, he would do great out there. Drew Holiday, Giannis.
Yeah,
they would do great out there.
Giannis would play great on any team, but I get the point.
Yeah, you get the point, man. You gotta be a certain way. That's just my opinion, man.
I disagree.
I can't do that anymore, man.
I look, look, I get it. You got to be coachable, but I don't think as long as you do your job and do it at a high level, I think you can fit anywhere. I understand some places have their cultures and all that, but as long as you do your job, you can fit anywhere. I really, really believe that. But also, I think that's a dangerous thing if you're just gonna just pick guys that just fit your culture, because you could be missing out on some guy that may not fit your culture right away, but you can mold that guy into something. Like, let's say
5 years, man.
Yeah, that's fine. It takes time, but I think that's one of the Spurs, in my opinion, should regret not taking that Lakers package. But that's just my opinion.
Because y'all you just mad because y'all didn't get Kawhi. But anyways,
we ended up winning the title. Yeah, look, ideally would I have wanted Kawhi? Yeah, but we ended up winning the title, so I'm fine with it.
Hey, look, the reality is this, man. The Lakers need young players.
Yeah.
Y'all had wait, let me finish. Y'all had young players. You sacrificed it for a championship, and now you in predicament you're in right now.
Look,
Thanks.
it's kind of look. We were able to keep Kuzma. I think we gave up too much for the AD trade. I will
Y'all
always
did.
maintain that stance. That's just me.
Y'all did. Y'all did.
Both things can be true.
Y'all did.
We should have made the trade for AD, but we shouldn't have given up so much. Shout out to Seawood on Sports Break.
Good show, homie. Never thought I thought I would see the Spurs tank. Yeah, man, they're tanking.
Yeah, but the Spurs have done it before, so this is
No, they haven't. Well, yeah, they did. That was like a long time ago.
yeah.
They got Tim Duncan, man. Like when they won a chip, they won the first chip during the lockout year. That ugly lockout year.
Mm-hmm.
That was bad. They beat the Knicks.
But we were just comparing. I just want to make this point. You know how we were comparing the Spurs to the Patriots.
Yeah.
But like because this is the difference. So like the Spurs, like I said, they have you ain't never had like that outspoken player that played for the Spurs. Some of those guys, Spurs, I didn't know could talk because they never spoke like ever. Like even Belichick took a Randy. Imagine if Bill Belichick had never got like a Randy Moss or something like you know how that culture like they have never had like a Randy Moss or a Grunk. Grunk is not a Patriots culture guy, but Grunk knew when to act right and when to get serious. So that's the type of players that you like. See, like that's the problem with the Spurs. They don't have no like a Grunk. I mean, of course you don't. Everybody's always in line. It's good to be in line in the NBA, but like even sometimes, even the best teams are the players that sometimes they aren't always in line, in sync with everything that's going on. Like the Warriors, Steph does like the stuff that Steph does. Of course, he's a team player, but soon. When has it ever been conventional for somebody to pull up from freaking 40 feet and take a three? Like these unconventional, like the unconventional stuff. Yeah, like
you never see that again, man.
What?
Like when I think of Steph Curry, I think of Reggie Miller because we've never seen a team like build around a 3-point shooter and win a championship. Reggie Miller could pull up from 30 like that, and he could win a championship. He could beat Jordan, and when Jordan retired, he still could win a championship.
Yep.
When the East got easier, and they played against the Knicks when Patrick Ewing was on a decline, and he still could win a championship because they ran into Shaq. Yep. So that's what's unique about Steph Curry, man. I don't think we're never gonna see something like that again, where you got a 3-point shooter, a guy like that pulling up from 30, winning championships, man. I don't know. But I'll close it out on this, man. I'll close it out on this. If I'm a bad man, I think Memphis might go to the ACC, man.
The who?
The ACC. Could you imagine Memphis playing Duke?
They would be. They already have 15, 16 teams already.
They don't care.
There's gonna be more realignment. I would like that. I would like that.
I would like that, dude.
Yeah.
Clemson playing Memphis in the Liberty Bowl. That would be dope.
Geographically, does it make sense?
Yeah.
A lot of things, conferences geographically that don't make sense.
West Virginia, the Big 12. Does that make sense?
No, it don't make sense.
I think it's either the ACC or the Big 12. I don't think they're gonna go to the SEC, man. I don't. But you never know.
And you don't think they're going to another group of 5? They only going up.
No, they going up, man. I think if Penny, like if they blow it out of the park, man, these next 2 to 3 years, somebody gonna want them. Somebody gonna want them.
They need to start letting the Big 12 F with them because every year it's always a tease. They could go to the Big 12. The Big 12, they make Memphis one of the teams that they're considering, and then they never pick them. I know other, like you said, other conferences. Maybe you said the SEC may never be an option, but sure, you never know. They let Vandy in there. Vandy's. I know if Vandy played Memphis in football every year, Memphis will win every year.
Well, Seawood said Memphis. Seawood said Memphis and Louisville are big rivals. That would be nice.
Yeah. From the ACC.
Yeah, Memphis and Louisville. Memphis playing Florida State. They got a home and home against Florida State.
Norvell, yep, they do it. That's coming up in 2020. Is that
So
2028?
I think they're playing at
look,
Florida. I don't know if it's
why
home.
wouldn't it make sense? Memphis versus Georgia Tech.
Yeah, that
That
makes
makes
sense.
sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I think that would make sense, man. I think if they blow it out, they knock it out of the park these next 2-3 years, they'll go somewhere.
Now Memphis versus Syracuse might not make a little sense, but I mean that's the only
It's a
one
good
matchup
rivalry.
where
It's good basketball though.
yeah, oh yeah, that's a really good historically basketball matchup. But yeah, from a basketball standpoint, the ACC will make more sense than a football standpoint, in my opinion.
Yeah, but
Uh,
we'll see, man.
Y'all
It's
probably saw.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Boise State, Memphis. I'm really gonna be excited to see that game.
Hey, did you say that the Liverpool gonna be packed, man?
I know. No, I never said it. I said it probably. I don't. Did I? Maybe I did. I have to look about
No, you
that. But
said
I probably
it probably
said
won't be.
it's probably going to be the way it is for maybe the Mississippi State game, and
That was stupid, man.
I don't think I ever said it was going to be packed.
Boise State got a big name, like for
Yeah,
like
that's a big name, man.
it's a big name, but it's not a big name to where I don't think students. I don't think like students. I think fans like you and I and like journalists like us know that it's a Boise State's good, but like the average student is not gonna get up for that game and go like they would for like a Mississippi State game.
The only way they would get up for it is like if College Game Day was there.
Yeah, something like that was awesome, man.
No, yeah, the calling
Wait,
that
did you
game.
go to that game, DB?
Yeah, I was at that game, man.
He reported. He was there in the booth. He was reporting that. He was there with me.
Yeah,
we were out there.
The game when Antonio Gibson went off.
Yeah,
Man,
we'll see, man.
That was special.
The one thing I'll say about Memphis, y'all know it. I don't tell y'all, but Memphis is a basketball city, and so while some fans will come out for the football games, I wish maybe if you offered more free, like if the students don't come, you can offer free tickets to kids at a certain age. Then you can pack the bowl. That's just my personal opinion, but it's a basketball city, so I'm not surprised. And I know basketball season isn't through going on through most of the football season, but if it was a basketball game, either Tigers or Grizzlies, that place is gonna, for the most part, be packed. But that's why I don't think it's as crazy when they were thinking about building a new stadium. Maybe they should have less capacity. I don't think it's as crazy as seeing a better model of a stadium with less capacity would be pretty nice. One quick thing I was going to mention. What are y'all's thoughts on UAB? Their coach resigning. He was a really good coach, Bill Clark.
Bill Clark, why did he resign?
Back issues.
Oh man, that's a big loss. He helped build their program from when they were naked. They were naked without him, and he built them up. Does it just happen today?
No,
like last week, like 3 days ago.
Yeah, he's resigning officially August 1st. But UAB, I believe they'll get a good coach. I could see them riding with an interim coach through this season. I think it's too late to make a coaching change because then you got to do a lot of staff changes. But in the offseason, because they're moving to the AAC next year, they'll find them a really good coach.
Yeah, we'll see, man. All right, man. That's so good. Go ahead.
They are moving to the AAC. I didn't even think about that, Brian. So they'll be there for the 2023-2024 season, right?
Yep.
Ah.
That means 5 other programs.
Florida. I think who was that team that ended up going undefeated, y'all? That whatchamacallit, UTSA. They're going to the AAC, right? Yeah.
It's gonna be Memphis.
Yeah, that's gonna be an interesting, maybe a little rivalry going now. I can't wait for that game. Yeah. I was at that game. I think I predicted the score just the opposite way. I thought Memphis would win by 3 points or by however points they won. But it's actually UTSA.
Yeah. All right, man. That's all we have for y'all for right now, man. Give us a like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Let us know how you feel about the topics we talked about. You listen to this through Apple, Spotify. Give us a 5-star rate. Leave your reviews. Let us know how you feel about the stuff we talked about tonight. Also, check out strike7sports.com for latest content on the NFL, the NBA, and much more. We'll be doing team previews in the next couple of weeks on quite a few NFL teams. It'll be 5 teams, 3 from the NFC, 2 from the AFC, and some college football programs as well. So let us know and check us out on strike7sports.com. Have a blessed night. Peace. We out.